Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Pitch the Podium and also to the Inside Line F1 podcast. I'm sure by now you know exactly who we are. My name is Soumil Arora, and I'm joined by Kunal Shah, ex-marketing head of Force India, ex-racing driver, now motorsport consultant for the VS Sport Network in Norway, among other things. Crucial part, this one. But having read the title, folks, you know exactly what we are on about today. We're continuing our series of looking at all the Formula One teams and deciding, well, if they were a stock, would you buy in, would you hold them, or would you sell them heading into the 2021 Formula One season? We did the first five. Let's begin with the next. And we start, Kunal, with Red Bull Racing. Now, a lot has changed and a lot will be changing. I mean, most notably, Sergio Perez coming in. But the big one, the killer blow could be that at the end of 2021, Honda might be leaving. Not Honda might be, Honda is leaving, you know?
Yeah, well, before we actually get to Red Bull and Honda and the whole stock tips, two important things to note. First is we are not investment experts. We are doing this for a lot of fun. So if you go buy a stock after this and it tanks or it grows, well, we've got nothing to do with it. And the second thing is something I usually never get to do, which is introduce Soumil to all of you guys. So Soumil to me is an 18-year-old prodigy in the world of motorsport. He does a lot of motorsport commentary on the iRacing and several other networks. And most importantly, for all our Indian motorsport fans, you would remember him as the host of The Driving Force, which is a web series on the popular OTT platform called Hotstar. So
Yep.
I'm very glad that Soumil has agreed to join forces on the Inside Line F1 podcast and be the thrusting force for Pits to Podium, where you're watching this on video. Thanks, Somal.
Ah, really humbled by that, Kunal. But let's move on to Red Bull. And now, again, I remember the last episode we discussed what the exact terminology is before investing. And they apparently say uh, investments are subject to market risks. Please read all scheme related documents very carefully. There are no scheme related documents, and it's just a very hypothetical situation of assuming that each team had a stock where you could actually buy in. I mean, it could be there if you're a rich enough person watching this or listening to this. Who knows? Maybe this could be a shot. But Red Bull, Canal, Red Bull is very much the close company from that perspective. You can't really buy in. But Red Bull have bought in to something very interesting. They've bought in the Honda powertrain IP. That's going to be coming in from 2022. But Honda said that in 2021, they're going to deliver the best possible engine that they can before departing. Signs of a stock that he should buy?
Well, I'm going to list down the parameters which sort of help me make a suggestion, right?
Hmm.
They have a new engine. They're going to use a 2022 engine in 2021, which, like we spoke for the Alpha Tauri segment, it's going to be interesting to see how 2022 Honda power does against 2021
Yep.
Mercedes power and Ferrari and Renault power, right? So that's going to be the one thing. New driver lineup, all right. Their launch was fairly disappointing. They just released two different angles of their RB16B racing car. But people suspect that they've redesigned a fair bit of the rear suspension geometry and the architecture at the back end of the car, which is basically what they are chasing, which is rear end grip and downforce. Something that even Checo Perez, given the limited running he's done, was quick to point out that there is good front end bite, right? But should we invest in Red Bull Racing? And my strategy would actually be a little different for Red Bull, Sommel.
Hmm.
I would buy now and then decide 5 or maybe 10 or maybe mid-season if I'm going to sell off the Red Bull stock, because that's
Mm.
typically how Red Bull have been in the last couple of seasons, maybe a little more. They start off on a high with a lot of expectations. Okay, of course, they don't start the season on a high. Usually, they start off slow and then get really stronger till the end of the season, right? But in 2021, they are saying they're going to do different. They want to start the season running as fast as they can. They want to take the fight to Mercedes, and we'll all know pretty soon enough if that's going to happen or not.
Yep.
And if it doesn't, then mid-season sale is definitely something I would recommend.
I mean, it's one thing to take the fight to Mercedes, and it's another thing to completely keep it gone for a very long season. And 2021 is going to be incredibly long. Should be fun to see. I think it'll be good to either buy or sell mid-season or just hold on because what's the worst Red Bull can do? P2. P2 is not bad. That's where they already are. What's the best that can happen? Oh, maybe they'll dethrone Mercedes. Unlikely, yes. But who knows? Maybe they just end up delivering as Mercedes just take their eyes slightly off the ball of 2021 and focus it on 2022. But that's to be seen. But Kunal, we mentioned the engine. How much of an impact will Sergio Perez have? Because if you're going to buy, I think that's going to be one major factor that gets you to buy in, knowing that now you don't have just one competent driver. You have two of them who can potentially challenge for the podiums almost every single race.
Yeah, I mean, I was doing some statistics reading, and Alexander Albon started just 4 of the 17 races in 2020 on the front row,
Ooh,
right?
yeah.
So, the bar is a little lower for Checo Perez to sort of match, I would say, if you were to consider Gasly and Albon's performances in Red Bull. But I'm pretty sure that that's not going to be the only benchmark for him. His benchmark is going to be Max Verstappen, who, let's remember, is a qualifying monster. He's able to muscle that car into positions that, Valtteri Bottas must be thinking about, or getting nightmares about time and again, just given how powerful Max is in qualifying trim. But that said, Checo Perez's primary strength has always been tire management, race management, you know, and being open to different strategies coming into race day, right? So different skill sets that Red Bull will have to bank on from both drivers, and skill sets I would say that haven't been available to them in the
Hmm.
last few seasons ever since Daniel Ricciardo left. So, like I said, buy now and then decide by mid-season what to do. And Somil, one of the reasons why I would even consider a mid-season decision on Red Bull is, if they don't start the season well, and if Lewis Hamilton is, deciding to not race any longer in Formula One, highly unlikely, but like we said in the Mercedes segment, he doesn't have a contract, so
Yep.
anything could be possible. Maybe Max Verstappen is going to leave the door open for him to join Mercedes. Yes, George Russell and all of that. But if that happens, then Red Bull will actually have a series of discarded drivers, right? Checo Perez being the senior most non academy driver. And then one doesn't know what could actually happen to the Red Bull program because they've always
Hmm.
banked on brilliant talent. First it was Vettel and then Weber, of course, Vettel being the number one driver. Then it was Ricardo and Verstappen, and then, Verstappen now. So that's also one of the reasons. What could happen to the Red Bull lineup mid-season? Will Max Verstappen stay along, or
Hmm.
will he deflect to Mercedes if the opportunity comes?
Exactly. And that just opens up a big question. Who is the next Red Bull ace? We have seen really positive signs from Yuki Tsunoda, Jehan Daruvala, Yuri Vips. I said Daruvala wrong. I said it in the British pronunciation. I'm Indian. I'm not supposed to say it that way. Jehan Daruvala, that is. But all the other Red Bull drivers, but none of them have shown sparks much like Verstappen or Vettel have. And it's understandable, right? They're generational talents. They don't come along very often. But that's a dilemma that they might be facing. That's still on the unlikelier side. But what is going to be more likely, Kunal, is the whole dynamic of having two cars and having them challenge Mercedes. Now, Red Bull predominantly have not been very much of a qualifying based team since Ricciardo have left. Very much reliant on the race pace and what they can do. Verstappen and Perez, both drivers who favor that style. Now, they always miss that missing link in terms of their second driver to put the pressure on Mercedes in terms of strategy. Is it something that's been blown out of proportion by all the experts and analysts and has just become something that has been irrelevant to this day? Or is it really a big thing, having two cars pushing the other one on the strategy side? And if so, Perez's impact could be more diverse and more big than you think it is at this stage.
I agree, Somil, and I don't think it's actually blown out of proportion because let's assume Red Bull genuinely are in the fight with
Hmm.
Mercedes, right? And they are able to challenge the Mercedes cars a lot more during race day. To have a second driver who's able to protect Max Verstappen's strategy, or even restrict the strategy options for Mercedes's drivers is a big opportunity that Red Bull has been waiting for. And I think we saw that in was it in Abu Dhabi last year when
Yeah, yeah.
Alexander Albon suddenly came alive, and he was able to restrict Mercedes from playing with Max Verstappen, and uh, if Checo Perez is able to consistently do that, I think he's also going to brighten his chances for getting a renewal for 2022. So lots of ifs and buts, but that's just how Red Bull have been. They are very
Mm.
happy to put everything on the line and risk all, and seek the rewards if they come, and even go along with the pitfalls that come with it.
Exactly. Should be interesting. But the pitfalls is what we should discuss finally before ending the chapter of Red Bull. If you had to pick one factor, Kunal, one thing that could really change your decision on Red Bull in a negative way, which one would it be for you? I think just the uncertainty surrounding the Honda IP being bought in and maybe the long term is something that worries me just a little bit because we've seen it's not an easy thing to do.
It's not, but I suspect that IP transfer and the technology transfer is going to be fairly straightforward, and I trust Honda and Red Bull to get it right completely.
Hmm.
And to me, I think the power unit freeze that has sort of come into play from next season is definitely a big win for Red Bull Racing. They literally have no excuses on the power unit front starting literally now. They know what's going to happen till 2025,
Yeah.
right? I think for me, the big negative variable in the whole Red Bull setup could be Max Verstappen, right? He's been waiting
Mm.
for several years for a shot at the world title. They're of course hyped up the whole could he be the youngest ever Formula One world champion thing, which a long that ship has sailed a long ago. I mean,
Yeah.
a year in Formula One is pretty long ago, right? If you were to ask somebody like
Exactly.
a Nico Hulkenberg, right? So,
Oh.
but yeah, so I think Max Verstappen, a lot will depend on how Red Bull are able to give him a car right from preseason testing. How they're able to spend their tokens, and how Red Bull is going to turn around and say, from being the ones that could challenge, we definitely want to be the one team that challenges Mercedes. So a whole bit in the positioning and posturing of their championship attack will define if Max is going to stay out of will, or will he be forced to stay, and the likes.
It's an interesting take, this. Maybe sometimes your biggest strength becomes your biggest weakness. Could that be the case for Red Bull in 2021? We shall see. But that, folks, is our advice for Red Bull. Perhaps buy a little bit right now. What's the worst that could happen? Make your decision in the mid-season and see how it goes. That's Red Bull done. Next up, this is going to be exciting. Next up, we're going to have Aston Martin. But for that, we're going to be back after a very short break.